Let's go with yeah. So the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that stand-up comedy and professional wrestling, their career arc is very, very, very much the same, very similar. I draw a lot of lines. I look at like wrestlers from the 80s, their careers, and go, that's how we should do stand-up comedy. But we'll get into that later. Are you ready to start the show?
I'm ready to start the show, man. I'm ready to start the show.
Okay. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the episode of Kuya and the Kid. I'm Loy Lee, and I'm here with my best friend, my Kuya P. What's going on, Kuya?
What's up, brother, man? Always a pleasure to see you, man. Always ready to laugh, have fun, and just get inspired, brother, by you, your light, your energy, that soul, that vibe. It infuses me. It makes me smile. It makes me happy, bro. Always a pleasure.
And your friendship in and of itself is just keeps me smiling. So that's all I can ask for in life.
So, let's keep on. Can we keep on going on this wrestling, man, before we dip into some other things, man? Because I think we've talked about wrestling here and there, but I don't think we've really talked about wrestling. So I was kind of surprised as we were recording our weekly NRW show, man, earlier. Because you had the shirt on earlier. You had a Loy Lee comedy inspired AEW shirt. What is this one now? Hold up. Before I dabble off too much, I'm seeing a different version here. What is this one off of?
This is looks like Public Enemy.
Okay. Got it. There we go.
This goes back to our hip hop roots.
There we go. I like that. I dig that.
I was not allowed to wear a Public Enemy shirt. So all the shirts I weren't allowed to wear, I'm wearing a version of it.
Oh, hell myself. Yeah. I dig that. Okay.
So, and this is like super inside baseball. If you're not familiar with how professional wrestling works, I don't know what to tell you, but a lot of these guys, they'll be road warriors. They'll do, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows a week, driving to these little towns, getting their little bit of cash and then selling t-shirts or merch. Yeah. And every night, just in and out. It's very common to be working 300 plus nights a year, and stand-up comedy is very much the same. You drive to a town. Like when I have a big show, if I have a big show, let's say in Milwaukee, I'm trying to put dates in between today and get me to Milwaukee. So when I get there, I've got dates. So it's not just one show.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So and branding and selling merch and just making a name for yourself. Like comedy is very much like that. So.
I completely agree. Being a longtime fan of wrestling, being a fan of comedy, I can see that mirrored lifestyle come 100%. But what I never knew though, what is intriguing me is that you actually are a fan of wrestling, or are you, or just it's very similar in lifestyle.
Similar in lifestyle.
Like, were you an 80s fan of wrestling?
We can talk 80s. We can talk 80s. We can talk a little bit of 90s, and I can have a coherent conversation about like
the current generation.
Yeah, AEW, being the Elite Bullet Club. We could talk about. I can hang in a conversation.
I'm with you, and I'm kind of the same way. Like I can totally 80s, 90s, and then fell off. I'm with you. Like I'm now a little bit more deeper into the new stuff, more so WWE and AEW. Being that I've had, the opportunity to speak with some of the AEW folks, and then just the revolution with women's wrestling, because my daughter competed in the Sasha Banks, Halloween costume contest and won. Yeah. And that's her favorite wrestler. And she also now wants to be a wrestler / ballerina when she gets older. Very interested in the new crop, but just it intrigued me that you're into that, and especially the AEW combination, because that takes a little bit more of a fan than your normal WWE. Everybody knows WWE, so I was just kind of intrigued. What are because like to me, I really like AEW. I think WWE has had such a stronghold since they bought out WCW and everything else under the sun. Really in the wrestling wars, if you will. How much of the AEW stuff that and are a fan of? Because it's a little bit more of a deeper cut than what WWE is.
So the way I explain my fandom of AEW is that Bullet Club. a lot of
the New Japan stuff.
The New Japan Bullet Club.
Yeah.
That was cool. It was like basically the new version of DX, the Click, NWO, but it evolved into being the Elite, and then being the Elite basically merged into creating AEW. And I am just wowed. I'm seeing kids who don't watch wrestling wear Bullet Club shirts, 5-6 years ago. It sparked my head. I was like, wow, that is exactly like comedy. My job in comedy is to be big enough to where I can have something of my own.
I feel that.
What I do enjoy though, listening to those podcasts like the Smoking Skull, Steve
Austin.
Steve Austin podcast, all of those podcasts, and where they're like, I was in Milwaukee and I had to drive 12 hours to get in and I just barely made it on time. Like, that's comedy. That's comedy in a nutshell.
Yeah, you can relate. You can completely relate.
Other than
performer,
right?
Yeah,
as opposed to getting dropped on my head every night.
No, I dig it, man. I like a lot of the AEW products. When the Bullet Club stuff started popping off, I really wasn't aware of New Japan too much. And then I had friends that schooled me into it. And then I eventually bought a Bullet Club shirt, and we were all wearing Bullet Club shirts at one of the conventions, and it was fun doing the whole Too Sweet thing.
Yeah.
Then I got familiar with Kenny Omega, with some of the guys that were on WWE, and also some were on NXT with the Finn Balor. But then, they're just like all over. And then you had the people that were in AEW. So it was just kind of cool that there was like a cool unit, even though they're spread across different companies. There was like a loyalty, a brotherhood there. So it's cool, man. And I'm digging, the product, and I'm hoping AEW see some success because of we need an alternative outside of WWE. As a longtime fan, I'll always be a fan of WWE because of the nostalgic memories. But like, it's good to have an alternative and see young folks kind of do their thing, and also kind of control their fates. Because as much as Vince McMahon is, he's the institution that is WWE, he also has a lot of evil ways, and he's done a lot of people greasy. So you kind of want to see people succeed and outside of their brand, and not have only be one-stop shop for people trying to make it in the business. So they need a place where they can, hang their hat and do their thing. So
I enjoy the fact that AEW is just a different product. A lot of times you just see the same, the same cookie cutter.
Yeah.
I mean, not for lack of better analogies, like the WNBA and the NBA. It's like, why? It's exactly the same thing. Why would I watch the WNBA if I could just watch the NBA? It doesn't make sense to me. And they're just providing a different option that's different, and I'm all for it.
I feel that. What's your favorite? Whom is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Of all time,
or top three. Give me a top three if it's too hard to give the one.
From a comedy standpoint. Cutting a promo.
Ooh,
Randy Savage cuts the best, worst, horrific, awesome promos.
Oh yeah.
He was like, cream of the crop. Oh my God, I don't have enough cocaine to understand this.
I feel that.
So him, Randy Savage, I would say in no particular order. Randy Savage, Ric Flair, because he can cut a promo. Amazing.
Yeah.
And then I think, let me go deep here. I really like Bad Luck Fale from the Bullet Club.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that person.
Yeah, Bad Luck Fale. He's one of the original Bullet Club members. I just like everything about him. Or like, I would buy this if I saw this dude at a bar and I didn't know who he was. Like, we're drinking. He just seems like that guy.
I dig that. All right, so I'm gonna take it, since we're also mixing up comedy with wrestling. What comedian do you think could really transition if they were to go into wrestling and give a promo? Name some comedians who you think could really rock out a promo.
It's just a weird skill set where, if you look at, there is a cookie cutter way to cut a promo.
Yeah.
Look at any promos, like, coming this Sunday, we're going to Cow Palace. I'm going to take it down a notch. We're going up a ladder. You're literally giving everybody all of the information of everything that's going on, but you say it in a way that it just sounds, I don't know. The old school way of cutting a promo doesn't exist anymore, and it doesn't exist in comedy. because every comedy promo goes, "Hey guys, hey San Diego, I'm gonna be at the American Comedy Club." It's
true, but I will say I've listened to enough podcasts, and I'm sure you as well, though, that like especially I remember listening to Howard Stern before I like really get into other podcasts, for itself. But like everybody listened to talk radio before podcasts were like the thing. And I remember hearing quite a few comedians that could like really cut a good promo to a show when they were on. But I can't think of any right now, so I'm kind of putting you on the spot
because we kind of don't need to anymore. We kind of don't need to.
Yeah,
I mean, I do. Hey, what's wild is this: when I roll into the Ontario Improv.
There you go.
September 8th. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tear the roof off. No,
you know what? I'll give props to. I have somebody I could recommend right now that did some killer promos. Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and Christina Pazinski. He was doing, because I don't know if you know Tom or a fan of Tom, but he also is into music and does DJing as well on the side. That's like a side passion. He created like this one character who's like a DJ type character. So you know what I'm talking about, right? And then he did some promos at some local news stations where he was doing a show at, and he was like advertising like out after the comedy thing. I'm doing like this DJ set somewhere. I don't know. I've seen like bits and pieces of these cuts when he was on these news stations, and it was hilarious. So like I could see Tom doing a good promo
in the context of this, where you go, morning radio is the worst.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine.
Early as fuck. Can't. Yeah.
And you're in 30 seconds. Hey, tell us a joke, and you're
exactly.
Like,
that'd be a nightmare.
I can only imagine that is a hell second to morning TV, where you actually have to not be in your pajamas.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could tell that he doesn't want to be there, and he's at the level where if you see him there, he's just doing it because he's bored out of his mind.
Yeah.
So people who don't care, I'm sure Ari Shaffir could probably cut a good promo, but it's just laced with indifference.
True.
Like, I'm here at this comedy club this weekend, and I'm contractually obligated to be here. Let's see how this horrifically will go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. What about you? Top 3 wrestlers from any era.
Wow. Stone Cold and The Rock. No, those are like 1 and 2. And at one point, Ultimate Warrior was up there. But as he got older, and as I got older and learning about who he was, and have you seen those Dark Side of the Rings about him? Oh my God. He was a crazy wackadoo conservative religious nut, after a bit, like, nah, can't. But he was my guy.
He changed his name to the Warrior.
Yeah. It's sad, man. And especially that Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know if you peeped those. Those are pretty good.
Dark Side of the Ring is amazing.
Yeah.
If you guys are not familiar, Vice is putting out documentaries.
Shouts to Vice, man. They're killing it with that. Right. But yeah, Stone Cold and The Rock. They've always gone back and forth for me, my 1 and 2.
I wanted to say The Rock because he can cut a promo, but that's the obvious. Anybody that's even in their 20s will be like Stone Cold and The Rock. I was just trying to go. Yeah, The Rock.
They killed it, dude. Savage was insane. I loved him as well, but then he also was problematic here and there. A lot of our stars from the 80s, bro, got problematic.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they had the $1 Million Man, right? Yeah. Who was his bodyguard?
Virgil. Oh my gosh. But it was cool though at the time, right? And it was like, what the fuck?
So wait, your servant is a black guy. The one of the few black guys in the W. Who's the other guy? Who's the other black guy in the W?
But you wanted his belt though, right? He had the coolest belt. The $1 Million belt was kind of a cool belt.
But it's all problematic. All of them, all of the minority
the Twin Towers, bruh, all of it. It was
Hakeem, the one Muslim guy was in Twin Towers.
And he wasn't even Muslim, I don't think.
I know he wasn't.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was so problematic. Yokozuna wasn't even Japanese; he was Samoan.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Who was the other black guy during the time of Virgil?
Junkyard Dog with a chain around his neck. Bro, Coco Beware, the Birdman. Bro,
flamboyant,
but they were cool as shit. And we had Bad News Brown. Bad News Brown, though, was kind of cool. He was just a take no shit motherfucker type dude.
Yeah.
But he didn't last very long for obvious
think,
reasons.
I think all of the caricatures were really problematic back then.
They were very problematic. And the Asian dudes, but dude, you can't tell me Great Muda wasn't cool as shit and spitting that green shit in people's faces. I love that.
I thought it was dope. I thought that was dope. But then
the dude with the tats that all over his face and shit. Yes, that motherfucker was dope.
But when you listen to like the commentary back then, I was watching like, oh my god, he's so sneaky. Oh, like wow, fucking relax.
Yeah, bro, it's cringy, right? It's so cringy.
Yeah. The ones that don't, when they're like, oh, they don't speak English, even though a lot of them do, and you're like, I see where we're going here.
Yeah. It really sat there in them stereotypes, dude. But
that was the time. We loved it.
Yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, it sucks, dude.
Did I just shit on your childhood memories?
It's like it is what it is, man. And you know, it inspired though in crazy ways. It was that little bit of representation that we did have.
I do my best to separate the product from the person, and you know, like Warrior, like rest in peace, fucking nut job. Like the person is a nut job. Yeah. But does that deter my memories of like when he came running out and his hair? I can't. You can't.
You know what I'm saying? We all got hype as fuck when that was going on. You know what I'm saying? I was lit. I was like, oh shit, he about to kick some ass. That shit was insane. Yeah, I'm with you. And I've been trying to do much the same. Separate the person and the myth.
I mean, I can't. They almost aren't the same person. Like that guy there and that guy. My memories, like I can't throw them both out. I keep one, and that guy himself is a nut. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's me making excuses. Maybe not. But
I'm with you, bro. It's hard, man. It's hard, man. But there's some cool characters now. I love the the evolution that wrestling has now undergone. I gotta say, to me, for WWE at least, the women are the best wrestlers right now, killing it.
That's the most exciting.
Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair. To me, I think has overshadowed her father. She's amazing, Charlotte Flair, the daughter of Ric Flair.
I think a lot of it is because they're doing stuff that we're not expecting, something that we haven't seen before. Because you look at the Attitude Era, and it's like China, cool. Lolita, okay, but Lolita was cool because she was doing shit we never saw before.
But, she was doing wild shit.
But it was like against Trish Stratus, which I love her, but not like a showstopper. But not like wrestling. So
exactly.
Seeing these divas wrestle now, you sit there and go, shit, like we have something on our hands, and it's amazing.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And AEW with the mixing they're doing, they've got like transgender wrestling going on. They got all kind of stuff going on. I dig the AEW product. And again, like we were saying earlier, I hope they kind of, get that shine and just be as competitive as WWE and be a place that, wrestlers can also have another place that they can go to if they don't make it in WWE or AEW as well. Just have another venue for them to do their thing.
I mean, I was watching the WWF, the WWE.
Yeah, right. Recently. And is that two differences too, right?
It's the same to me. And people get upset, but it's like, it's the same to me. Just let me have it.
You grew up on that.
And I'm kind of watching as I've seen, I don't know who's wrestling. I don't know who's performing, but I've seen this before. Everything that you're showing me is like, I've seen this before. And I don't want to be that old guy being like, but I'm not excited because I've seen all of this. When I watch AEW, to go, okay, this looks and feels different. Let me watch more.
Awesome. I dig it, man. So yeah, I was very intrigued about you being a fan. And because I'm dipping back into it here and there when the wife is all into it. She watches What Culture Wrestling every now and I find her like listening to that because she enjoys the British take on it because What Culture is based out of the UK. And she's always had a thing for the British accent. So I think that helps it even more along. But yeah, she's now a fan of that stuff. So it's fun. And we really enjoy the female. And my daughter enjoys the wrestling too with the young, young
lie. Yeah. I think that's how I found the Bullet Club was through What Culture. It was like I was watching something. Oh, okay, what's going on here? And then I fell in love with the whole process. And this was before AEW. This is before being the Elite. and then I watched the Being the Elite, their YouTube channel and stuff like that, and go, oh, comedy. This is how we should be going about comedy.
So very true. So very true, man. It's really good. It's good shit. I have to give you a nod to our last episode.
Okay.
Coming off of wrestling, man. As I had mentioned, I want to get rid of the bulk of this product that you see behind me. And for those that have been in my house like yourself, there's a lot more of it in my studio. And
this is not even a fraction. What you're
not
seeing,
even.
This is it just happened to be there. He didn't even set this up. This was the way it was when I was there 2 years ago.
Yeah. So because of our discussion, of me wanting to liquidate a lot of this material, since we last spoke, my wife watched our episode and she's gonna help push it along. So I want to thank you, brother. Give you props. So hopefully I can start moving some of this collection out and replace it with some other stuff that I have already. I'm not trying to buy new shit, brother. I have stuff that can take its place. That I'd rather have up but then still get rid of like I said, about 95% of it can go. I'm with it, man. And so again, thanks. Hopefully she'll help me get it out of here.
Do you have a dollar amount of like a guesstimate of how much you've spent?
How much I spent?
Yes. Guess conservatively. I'm curious.
I'm terrible with money, bro. I'm the wrong Asian for that. I'm the wrong Asian for that, bro.
Think of a large number and then multiply it by itself.
I'd say at least the car, about say 30 grand,
That's conservative.
I think so. And then, and cause that's how much I kind of estimated last week to you. Uh-huh. And then we've already found out that just one of those books was like about that same price, right? So there's already that value that's even more than that. So
I think you got in your basement of stuff. I think you got six figures. And you can get,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sure you can get well more than that. Listen, when you figure out your eBay account, we're going to put your name there and people can just go and peruse your basement.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't argue that, I would conservatively say how much I spent purchasing it on my own throughout the years. I'd say, safely at least 30 grand. How much its value is now is definitely at least six figures.
At least 6 figures.
At least. Yeah.
Hey, Miss Strange, you should probably
so thanks again though for that. That's gonna get a kick in the pants. We went, funny enough, it was Saturday, free comic book day. I went to go see some friends because they had new store locations. They expanded their stores. So I went to see their new stores and also some cosplayer friends that were there dressing up to hand out free comic books. And I didn't buy anything other than a couple of mouse pads, like this cool snazzy Storm Shadow one.
Dope. You bought two of them though.
Yeah, I did. It was hard to choose. Come on, bro. Look at it. Snake Eye, Storm Shadow. Look how dope it is.
So you have two mouse pads, but how many computer mouse do you have?
I'm only working with one.
Okay.
So the other one's on the other side in case I pull my laptop out and, because I have a whole setup, right? So I have another laptop occasionally I have here underneath this other monitor. So yeah. So it's if I put it out, boom, I have the mouse to go with that laptop. You feel me? So that's my excuse. I'm sticking with it. So okay. I have two mouse pads sitting here on this desk because they were dope, man. But funny enough, we were at the comic book shops and checked out my friends' new locations, checked out some cosplayers, and then picked up an Overstreet price guide as well. And I think you were going back and forth texting with my wife, and I was like, all right, I'm picking up this price guide. That'll help, along with, like I said, babe, go up on eBay, go to town, start pulling. And I was like, Loy said, like at least 5 a week. I think that's doable.
Yeah.
And we can get it moving, and I'm down with it.
Or since you're connected, you're so well. That's how we met. You're so connected with the comic cosplay community out there. It's like if you got the connects, just take a few pictures of the books that you're gonna give them and just have them sell consignment.
I can put it out there, yeah. And I'm sure just even some of the ones that I'm interested in selling, I know, like, I just saw it the other day. I have the first appearance of Harley Quinn, Batman Adventures number 27. That's a couple,
That's
I'm sure somebody would want to buy that right out the grip.
And on top of that, that'll help support the community because they take a small percentage or whatever fee. It's money in the bag, bro. You're sitting on.
I'm just sitting on it right now, and it can go, and I'm down for it to go. It's just fucking the time, making the time happen. But then I'm also thinking, so actually, you made my wife and I engage in more conversation. So she's like, "Yeah, let's sell it. We're good. I'm good with it." But like, there's certain books that if you get it professionally graded, and if you're familiar with that, that raises your price even more, or at least what you can get for it.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's X price. So you were looking up some of the prices right last week,
right?
But like if you get it professionally graded, I'm sure you've heard and seen all these auction houses, man, $1 million for this Superman or whatever is. So like the amount of money you can make if you get it professionally graded, it just triples, doubles.
Yeah. So what you do is you sell stuff to afford the grading, because the grading's
that's how they get you. But that's an investment into how much you'll make off of it, right?
And what people can't see, all of his toys to the other side, like he's got Stormbreaker, he's got all of the things you would want. He's got.
Yeah, dude.
Sell some of that. You go, okay, let me sell this. Let me pay for the.
And you're right. I was thinking about that. Yeah, maybe get rid of the toys, because toys, I don't need to worry about grading that. The toys can then help pay for the CGC. And then, which is Comics Guarantee, that's the grading company. Yep. And then there you go. But like, I just want a lot of these long ass boxes gone though, man, because it's just like tons of boxes and boxes. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you, man, and we're gonna get it moving. We're gonna get it moving, brother.
Hey, you know what though? Like I said, I think it's time. Time is everything.
Yeah,
I think that if you can just somehow catalog them and then drop them off to get consigned, that will help the local shops stay afloat. And it's literally nothing you got to do other than drop them off.
Oh, you're saying have the shop sell it?
Why not?
I you know what? I didn't even bother thinking about it from that angle. And I just was at a couple of friends, and look at you, look at
time,
bruh.
Time. Right? So
okay.
Hey, just drop it off. Like, hey, here's a list of the things.
I might have to holler at my man Ed. Ed is my main guy that knows that. All right, I'm gonna holler at you if you're gonna pay attention. I know you watch every now and then. So Ed Sanderson, what up, Ed? Down at Gateway Comics in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'm gonna be hollering at you probably very soon because of my boy Lloyd right now. So there you
go. Okay.
Shout out to Ed. All right, let's keep it moving, man. So thank you again, brother. We're gonna make this look different. Hopefully within a year. You know what I'm saying?
6 months. I said
within a year, right?
Okay. I've been trying to delay this, but I'm going to shit on your childhood. We're going to get to our movie review. We talked about it last time.
Yes.
And I did not know how entrenched you are with this, but we're talking about 2005's Sin City.
Yes. Frank Miller's Sin City. Shout out to Frank Miller.
So
although he's problematic as well. I've seen over the years.
Walk me through this.
Oh, Frank Miller?
No. Walk me through Sin City.
Man, I might have to have something to help me kind of.
Why do you like it?
I mean, because okay, so it then comes back to Frank Miller. Frank Miller was one of the artists that really defined dark and gritty for comic books. Comics books has always been kind of very,
colorful,
hopeful, bright, cheery, just kind of like it's Superman, just kind of cookie cutter. Everything's nice and superhero. Bad guys really didn't do much. It was very Saturday morning cartoon-ish in a way. So then came along Frank Miller, who's I think he started over at Marvel on Daredevil, introducing a character by the name of Elektra. Then he went over to DC Comics and then gave us the Dark Knight, truly, that we know redefined Batman.
Okay.
He is instrumental in turning Batman into who we know now. and making Marvel and just comics period, the dark brooding characters that we know now. So he brought this amazing visual style in both writing and art. And then eventually he, as all creators do, they want to own what they're creating because, you know, when you're working for the big two, you don't see a lot of that. Plus you want your freedom to create. He went over to Dark Horse Comics and started a strip that I think was called, that was in Dark Horse Presents, which was kind of like an anthology comic where you'd have a bunch of creators have like 5 or 6 pages a piece, and there'd be like 4 stories in each book, and then they could just kind of do their own thing. So Sin City first premiered in Dark Horse Presents, I want to say issue 18 or 27. And you see how wild that is, that I remember issue numbers because I'm a fucking nerd, man. It's crazy.
Well, take a second. We could just pause the recording. Just go grab it. Just go grab that episode, that issue, and show it to us.
In a long white box that I have no idea where it's at. I'm trying to think. I thought I had like the graphic novels out here, but no. I can't. I pull out the graphic novel if I could. Actually,
the fact that I'm literally fucking with him. He's got it.
So yeah, they put out it was in like the small floppy comic book form.
Yep.
That he premiered these characters, and then after a while, it got so popular he collected it into a graphic novel, which is what these are. And this is the first run called The Hard Goodbye. And this actually, I picked these up when they premiered the film that we're going to talk about and that you're going to trash talk.
Yep. I'm going to give you my honest opinion.
So Sin City Volume 1, Volume 2, A Dame to Kill For, The Big Fat Kill. And I think actually, the film kind of adapts all of these.
Yeah. Okay. So this is starting to make more sense.
First 4 books. The film adapts these first 4 books that you see right here.
Okay. This is okay. This makes more sense to me. Got it. Okay. I'm on board now.
Yeah.
And so didn't they do another one? Isn't there a second one? Which
yes, A Dame to Kill For. Which is, I think, based off of the last 2, which was Booze, Broads, and Bullets and Family Values. And I think there's more than this. I think there was a couple other 2. Actually, no. A Dame to Kill For was Volume 2's name, but they took out different pieces when they did the film. But it was a very faithful adaptation, which is also why I love it. But anyway, noir filmmaking. Robert Rodriguez, who we loved from Dusk Till Dawn, from what else did he do, man? With
the Grindhouse
with Quentin Tarantino. You know, he was a huge fan of him, was very inspired by his art styles. So many filmmakers that we know and love were, you know, again, Frank Miller brought like darkness into comic books, took it away from your Saturday morning, you know, 60s Batman type shit, put it into stark reality, into realism. But it was very, you know, the problematic part of it, a very, you know, over masculine form of storytelling in a way as well. So there was reality, which is good, but it was very dark and very, you know, different. That it was just, I'm trying to find the words.
When did the comics come out?
Sin City?
Yeah.
It was in the 90s, man. I want to say like early 90s.
So it's you know, I think the hard part that we look at the art is like, oh, it doesn't hold up today. Well, wasn't really supposed to hold up to today. It was a kind of a glimpse of what was going on then, or interpretation of
91.
What was going on then. 91. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so, 91 to 2000, 91, 92, 93.
Have you seen any Sylvester Stallone or Schwarzenegger movies? They're just overly masculine.
Yeah. So he was from that kind of time period, and then he wanted to do this noir project and do black and white contrasts with only like certain colors to like really hit for certain things he wanted to tell you. So just from a creative standpoint, that's what made me fall in love with Sin City. Okay. And just that also trying to get into noir classic films, you know, as a kid at that time period as well, trying to check out like, you know, the Maltese Falcon, what was it? Humphrey Bogart, in, you know, a bunch of bogeys films. You know, as a young filmmaker, you know, I was looking at just differences in playing around with lighting. You know, that's so I fell in love with Sin
Okay.
City because of like from an artistic standpoint, and then just the characterization, the individual characters, it all made sense. But then again, it was problematic and dark and everything, and I could see that. But then not everything needs to be cookie cutter and nice. You know what I'm saying? So you like you kind of enjoy in its outlandishness in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's what it was for me. And I know
Okay.
you're gonna shit on it, but that's the reasons why for me. And I don't know if I broke it down into like
No,
Genesis too much, but
it
yeah.
makes better sense, but I still hated it.
And I can
And here's-
understand. I can understand.
And I think it wasn't the over masculine. When you tell me it was a comic book and it was black and white comic book, and I get what they were trying to do visually. The story, I only watched 2 of the vignettes.
Really?
The
You
Bruce
couldn't
Willis
get through
one,
all the way through it?
I could.
Really?
The first one was tough with Bruce Willis and young Jessica Alba. Difficult. It was like one of those things where it just seemed very trope driven, like all of the tropes of like retired cop and all of these things. I see kind of what they were going with, but watching it was 40 minutes. The first vignette, it was hard to watch. And then the second one was with Josh Hartnett, and it was like 5 minutes. And I was like, ooh, 5 minutes, great. And I'm out. I couldn't watch it.
Well, that one was how they sold to get the whole film made. That it was actually made that would preceded everything, and then they turned it into the rest. Yeah, there's a whole story to it that I could tell you. But you have, man,
Nope.
I think the point is you got to watch the whole thing to get the
Okay.
whole feel for it, though, dude.
And luckily it's broken up into small sections so I can just watch it.
So you can possibly finish it out all the way through.
Because I better understand. I mean, I guess
I still think you're gonna hate it, because if you're already not feeling that, then you're probably gonna hate it. But it all will make sense.
I was so happy. I was so happy when the credits rolled. And I was like, oh, there's the movie. Wait, that only seemed like 40 minutes. Oh, it was only 40 minutes. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's 2 more. Fuck.
Yeah.
I was out. I couldn't do it.
If you can't feel the first one, you're not gonna, because that's how the style is. But you'll get a whole complete vision of it if you watch it all the way through.
Okay.
But if you're already not feeling it, then you're not gonna dig it, because that's it. It's a noir. Are you not? Have you ever been a fan of noir or like that old school type crime story?
But
because that's what it is. It's just a little bit more graphic
of it. I feel like they're doing the graphic didn't bother me. The violence didn't bother me. But I just felt like they're doing a parody of it. Like,
really?
Man, out of all the bars you could have walked into this one. Like, I just felt like it just seemed. Yeah, I couldn't. It didn't.
Wow.
That authenticity of it. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. The look kind of hurt my head, but I was like, okay with it, because it was like, oh, it's a comic book. But just the writing, the storyline itself, he had to kill himself because he's like, oh, this is the only way, keep her safe, and he kills himself. It's like, okay, that's a little too much. Like it almost sounds like he dealing with someone
that's what I think is the beauty of it, though, in a way, because again, there's certain, think about, I don't know, I think I'm rather well read, and I've read a lot of material and content, so a lot of stories always kind of generally end up the same, and that's the beauty I found when I discovered Frank Miller's Sin City for myself, is just a difference, it's a lot dark, but then have you ever thought about those kind of choices and would actually present those kind of choices?
Okay, again, the style is what it is. I'm okay with that. It just everything else, like the style didn't bother me once I realized what it was. The vignettes, I kind of was there I was waiting for like a ride, like a long-term ride. A short ride was like, I don't know. The storyline itself was meh. I wasn't thrilled with it. especially the Bruce Willis storyline. I just wasn't. I was there for Jessica Alba. I was like, okay, well, she's here now, so let me just let me kick around for a little bit longer. It just seemed very trope centric, and you know me, that's not my style. I didn't learn anything. I didn't feel a certain way. It looks like a comic book adaptation, which is exactly what it was. So hooray on that front.
Nah, I'm with you. And it's not for everybody. So that way, like, it doesn't surprise me, brother. I definitely think you'll get a more complete story if you watch the rest, but if you're already not feeling it, it's told very much in the same way. So you'll get more of why Jessica was doing this, because they all make reappearances in the other consecutive. You're not getting a complete story by just watching the first two.
Okay.
So
I will. Yeah, because I thought that Jessica Alba's character was poorly written. It just seemed like I'll watch it just so I can literally make references to it at your expense later. But
nah. I don't want you to worry about it if you're gonna, because I know you're gonna hate it, man. But it's all good. Like I said, to me, it was a visual. It's a visual thing, and it's a different take on stories.
Because I'm gonna hate it. I'm going to tell you I'm going to watch it, just so you know that I'm going to watch it, knowing that I hate it.
I don't want to put you through it.
And, that's why I'm going through it.
No.
You did this, Kuya. You did this. No, that's very interesting. The passion that you show explaining it is in and of itself a journey, and I think I enjoy you explaining it more than I did actually experiencing it.
You didn't even get to Rosario's part yet either, because she's not till I think
minute
like the third or fourth story.
Minute 500,600 minutes. Anyways, I'll continue watching it. I'll tell you right off the bat.
Yeah. And it's all good, man. It's not for everybody, man. But that's also why I think is also the beauty of it. It gives you something different when we have so many things that are cookie cutter and stereotypical. And it makes different decisions that we just don't get all the time. And I'm happy to see that. You know what I'm saying? And normally you have to look into indie films to get those kind of choices.
That is,
Hollywood always gives us the same shit.
Right. And looking at that, it is Tarantino, that it is Robert Rodriguez, looking, it makes more sense in context. And I think that it has its place in 2005.
Yeah.
But I've seen way too much Marvel. I've seen way too much yeah. Okay.
And I would say that if not for this film, even though you're not such a fan of it, but being that they were so loyal to the source material. This was, to me, and that's why I love it so much, is it was so loyal to the source material that storyboarding. They use the comic books for the storyboarding. The words you'll read in these graphic novels are the same words you're hearing in the screenplay. So
and I will say, somewhere
it gave it a blueprint.
Yeah, somewhere along the lines, I kind of was expecting the pow and bam and just sounds and words so it did give me that visual connection. I just I
understand, brother.
Major disconnect. Anyways,
no worries, man. No worries. So
I don't recommend it, but I recommend people talking to you before they watch it.
No worries. And I want people to you got to go into it with your own mindset. If you're asking me what inspired me as a creative, from a filmmaking standpoint, wanting something different than the norm, to me, that was completely it. Oops, let me edit this out right in there. I don't know if y'all hear that. They don't need to talk to me right now. Somebody else can answer that. But it just inspired me from its creativeness and making different types of decisions. And when you want to see something kind of break that mold, come out that mold and destroy it. To me, that's what that was. And it preceded what we saw from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that they could then take that as a blueprint that if you're dedicated and loyal to the source material, you can actually put out together something that fans will love. And to me, that's what Sin City was and represented. And from an artistic standpoint,
I want to say thank you for sharing that with me. We are closer friends.
So if you're not a fan of noir, then you're not going to like it like Loy is. Oh well, no, maybe noir is putting it too much into it because you did say you like noir.
Yeah.
This is just
and I think because I like noir, like the detective, that stuff, like from the 50s, like I felt this was just parody to it. That's all.
I got you.
Okay. Well, we're still friends. I still love you.
I still love you too, brother. It's not like I said, it's all good. It's not for everybody. And then again, I've aged well, and I'm now of older age, and like we were talking with the wrestling, going back to our earlier conversation, certain people become problematic. Our wrestling stars became problematic. Frank Miller, he introduced this darkness, but now everything's so fucking dark. So much so that to me, the reason why DC comics and DC films are so bad right now is because they went so dark with Batman, with what they did. Christian Bale kind of did his thing, and a lot of people appreciate those Batmans more than the Michael Keaton stuff because like they started off with like Tim Burton. He took that dark thing during that same era that Frank Miller was making Batman dark. Frank Miller came out with the '89 Batman, because like I said, Frank Miller was doing his thing on Sin City, came out in 2001, but I want to say it was like 88, 86 that he made Batman the Dark Knight, fucking thinking nerd. Back time periods. I know, right? So it was like 86, 3 years before we got the '89 Batman with Tim Burton and Michael Keaton. Miller was doing his thing on Batman in like 86. So then here, they made that. Then they kind of went campy with the Batmans, and then it fell off into now. Then they did the Christian Bale Batmans, but like everything has to be so moody and gritty and dark with the DC stuff that, you can blame Frank Miller on that, unfortunately. And
but also I think that we blame Marvel, because we just saw the blueprint on Marvel and we just expect DC to do exactly what Marvel did. And when they don't, we get upset.
Yeah. But to Marvel's thing, they were always very real. All of their characters were set in New York. Batman, Superman, they were in fictional cities and they were very godlike. It was very two different kind of franchises. And it was, they wanted to be like Marvel, play like Marvel, but their characters weren't like that. They need to be like way overpowered and glossy and beautiful and not as dark. But because of Frank Miller, that's where it became, the problem. And then Frank Miller also, I think there was a controversial thing in, I want to say it was like a Batman Elseworlds book. Here again, I'm with my nerd shit again. That he did a thing against there was some kind of commentary he made against the Middle East and Arabs that it became very problematic, and that people stopped like feeling him. But Frank Miller did put his stamp on the comic universe and our favorite characters, and so I'm not sure what he's doing now, but he's kind of been put to the side because of what the comments he made that he did with Batman, and that kind of made people not feel him anymore for a bit. That I'm not sure where he's at right now. So, but yeah. Anyway,
gotcha.
Kind of got creepy right there. Like, did they put him out to pasture? Like, what did they do to him? Like, like that makes me actually want to Google what's going on with Frank Miller right now.
Is Frank Miller okay?
Is Frank Miller okay? What's happening with him?
Well, my man.
Well, yeah, and then also just again with culture too. As you saw in Sin City, very beating up women half the time. You know what I'm saying? Although there are some strong female characters within the Sin City universe, they're very sexually driven and presented, and it's nudity when just for the sake of nudity, a lot of beating up women, just all of that, and very over masculine men, but it's also a lot of white men. You don't see a lot of minority characters, so those are some of the problems with some of the content.
But also, I think that is just par for 2005.
Yeah,
2000. Yeah, 89 when he wrote it.
Yeah,
it doesn't hold up, but it wasn't really supposed to. It was supposed to be more of a tentpole of that time.
Yep. So there you go.
Hey, you know what? I don't recommend the movie, but I recommend people talk to you before they watch the movie. That is my recommendation.
There you go. Like I said, I'm gonna recommend it because of what I said, but I can understand, and I still love my boy Loy if you don't like it, because it's not for everybody, but that's what's the beauty of it as well. You don't want it, and every film doesn't have to be for everybody. It can only speak to just you and be everything you enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's films that Loy has, and I'm curious what those might be. So, what is the film that we can do next week, brother?
I think we talked about Big Trouble in Little China. Did we not talk about that?
We did bring that one up. I wasn't sure if that was going to be it, but I'm down with it.
That one because I haven't seen it in a while. So let's watch it again.
I'm down with that. Right.
Big
Trouble in Little China. Let's get it.
Sounds great. I hate to cut this one short, but I gotta get up out of here. My bladder's about to blow up, and you got a headache.
Yeah, but I made it through. Loy, how can they find you, brother?
Loy Lee Comedy across everything. LOYLEE Comedy. We did what else we got? We had NRW, we got Short, Pale, and Handsome. I'm gonna get in trouble. We got all of these things. You can find me loyleecomedy.com.
Your boy Kuya P. I appreciate it, brother. Your boy Kuya P. You can follow me at Strange Since 1977, as well as Enzo Faris. And there's a bunch of other ones. I'm gonna put it in the chat, but my boy needs to use the restroom, and I have a headache. So we're gonna get up out of here because nerds rule the world at the NRW. All that. My boy Loy, your boy Kuya P. We're out of here.
Love you, bro.
Bye. Love you too, bro. Big Trouble, Little China. Next episode.
No,